Thanks for joining everybody. How's everybody's week gone? Everybody okay?
Very well.
Doing
Yeah.
good? You know, we're doing a Vietnam reunion, Ben, and 50 years later, we got close to 100 people coming.
Oh, well, cool.
Should should be fascinating, right?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So thanks for joining. Let's go for this. Tell me about our theme today, Ben. Sounds like an interesting one.
Well, I don't know if you'd call it the theme, but I would, as always, I like to deliver a short message and then pray for the call here. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Benjamin. I'm with an organization called Freedom at a Price, which has a dual meaning. First meaning is the freedom that our American soldiers paid on the battlefield here and at home for the freedoms of our country. And the second half of that is the eternal freedom that I wholeheartedly believe that Christ paid for with his blood for our eternal freedom. So the message I have for today, about a quick 4 or 5 minute message, is called Fit for Service. Everybody who served in the military, we all remember some version of a physical fitness test. Every branch calls them something different, but they got run, push-ups, sit-ups, planks, pull-ups, whatever it was, whatever your branch decided at the time was a good idea. But the purpose wasn't the test. The test was simply measuring whether you were physically prepared to do the job that you were called to do, that you signed up for, because you had to remain fit for service. I think there's a lesson in this for all of us, even long after we take the uniform off. And the first point here is physical readiness matters. 1 Timothy 4:8 says, "For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things." So sometimes Christians take that quote and out of its verse, and they almost make it to where physical fitness is less important. But that's not what it says, right? Physical training has value. Taking care of somebody that we've got really matters. And as we get older, that becomes even more obvious with strength, mobility, endurance, nutrition, rest, not because everybody needs to look 22, when they're 40 or 50 or 60, but because we have people who depend on us and our families, our friends, and our communities. And we want to remain capable of serving them. The second point is physical fitness requires discipline. Most fitness requires discipline, right? Hebrews 12:11 says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it." Nobody accidentally gets into great physical shape. And most of the time, it's not enjoyable right off the bat, right? It takes consistency. And you don't go to the gym for one workout on a Monday and then you wake up physically fit on a Tuesday morning. That's not how it works. You train, you recover, and then you do what? You do it all over again. And there sometimes that principle, actually all the time, that principle reaches out far past the gym. Um, for instance, you want to be patient, practice patience. You want to become a better husband or a better wife, invest in your marriage. If you want to become more dependable, start showing up. If you want to grow closer to God, start spending some time to get to know him. And what we consistently train eventually becomes a part of who we are. So my third point here is, what are we getting fit for? And so Mark 10:45 says, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve." So that part really gets me, because Jesus had every right to have everybody serve him, but instead he served them. He fed people, he cared for people's wounds and diseases, that people that everyone else ignored. He sat with people that everyone else had written off, and ultimately he gave his life for them. So maybe the question isn't simply, am I fit? Maybe the better question would be, what am I staying fit for? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be stronger, healthier, or even live longer, but what's the purpose behind it? In the military, a lot of us, we took great pride in our physical fitness. And then when you get out, you sometimes lose that drive. And it just doesn't happen like it used to happen. But now you may want to stay strong enough to just take care of a brother or a sister. Stay healthy enough to be there for your family. Keep in mind that keep your mind sharp just to help your brother struggling next to you. And sometimes being fit for service means recognizing that we're the ones who need somebody to help. There might be somebody listening tonight who's tired. And I'm not talking about physically tired. Maybe you're carrying something that has gotten you so heavy, it's weighing so heavy on you, and you're starting to wonder whether everyone else would be better off without you. Or you're wondering if there's even a reason to keep on going. Don't fight this battle alone. One of the strongest things you can do is tell somebody where you're actually at. Call somebody, sit down with somebody, ask for help. Because whether you're facing whatever you're facing right now, your life still has value. We wouldn't have this call if your life didn't have value, and your story isn't finished. So maybe you've never really considered in the middle of what you got going on what Jesus said in Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And notice he didn't say, come to me once you've gotten yourself all figured out and all straightened out and everything's great. That's not what he said. He said, come weary, come burdened, come worn out, come exactly how you are sitting on your couch right now with the world weighing down on top of you. And don't neglect your relationship with God when you're working on everything else. To those of you who are physically and your readiness is up and you're fit. If you're not sure what you believe about Jesus, I'd simply encourage you to start here. Read something about him. Ask some questions. Talk to somebody that you trust. Because when you actually look at the life of Jesus, you'll find a man who spent his life asking, who can I serve? Versus what can people do for me? And that's a pretty good reason for us to stay fit for service. So let me pray to open this up. Lord, I thank you so much that God, that you have given us this opportunity to gather together here today. Lord, I just pray that you would draw into to us on this call, the folks who need to be here, Lord, that you would just break down the barriers of the folks whose pride is keeping them from coming to this call, Lord. The people who do come here, I pray that you would soften up their hearts so that everything that is discussed here, Lord, that it would help them. And God, I thank you for using us, for using American Military Family and Freedom at a Price in such an amazing integral um, plan of yours to reach the broken people of this world and to reach the folks who are so needed. And Lord, they're so loved and so valuable, yet they believe something else. And Lord, we're here to convince them otherwise. And we just ask for you to lead and guide this with your Spirit in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. You know, maybe if you wouldn't mind, Ben, maybe uh, talk a little bit about Freedom at a Price. Is that your operation? Did you start that?
So I'm the founder of it, but we have 5 board members. One of our board members is a active duty civil affairs guy right now. Another is a retired 18 Charlie, a Green Beret engineer sergeant. Another one is a retired long range surveillance alert guy, and then the last one, he is a C5 Air Force crew chief, I believe, is what he was. And all of these folks, the only thing that we have in common, we have 2 things in common. We all served in the military, and the second thing is that we all love the Lord, and we seek to reach the military men and women and their families with the gospel of hope and to help them in their areas of need, whether it's marriage, finance, the stuff that you guys got going on. I know we've utilized you, PTSD, prosthetics, service dogs. It doesn't really matter. We'll enlist whoever we need to get somebody the help, and 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 kind of circumvent the bureaucracy that we pray gets better, but we got to just work with what we're dealt with. So we're based out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is obviously the epicenter of military on the planet Earth. And I don't think that's a mistake. So um, yeah, we're moving and shaking for sure.
You put on a large banquet or something every year, or a gathering of a lot of folks. What's that all about?
So it's not so what we do is we call it a conference. I don't know what else to call it. It's this year it's at the Crown Theater. It's a 2,500 seat venue
Wow.
where we have speakers come in from across the country. This year we've got Jeff Struker, who is a Hall of Fame Ranger. We got Edward Graham, which is
Love this.
Chief Operating Officer out of Samaritan's Purse. He was a Ranger. We've got John Arroyo, who was a retired Green Beret, and he was also the first guy that was shot down, I believe it was Fort Hood, and survived. And then we've got the president and CEO of the Warrior's Journey, Kevin Weaver. And then we just added last week Kelly Guerin is her name. She's a spouse to a fallen. He passed away F-16 driver, and so we got the spouse side of things covered too. And basically, it's a weekend for people to reconnect, to to build that brotherhood. This year, it's called Forged in Faith, and and we hear from guys who've been there and done that. And in Kelly's instance, you know, she was a spouse. She went through the deployments and all this stuff. So she's been there and done that too. And we sometimes we forget that the spouses, you know, they've served as well. And
Yeah.
so sometimes we forget that. So they speak from their point of view and how the Lord has walked them through it, or whatever the you know what they got to talk about, and then we have a worship band there called Relentless Flood, which they're heavy metal, so they're amazing, and we have a great time, and it is it's pretty amazing. So
That's
uh,
an annual event.
yes, ma'am.
And
Yep.
so how long you been doing that?
This is the second year, so yeah, we're very excited. It's you know, once we perfect this system here in Fayetteville, which I don't know how long that takes, but once we perfect the system that we have here, then who knows where it's going.
I
But
love it.
ideally, we have a spiderweb system throughout the United States to start, and then I couldn't tell you where
I
we go.
love it. Michelle, you have a question or a comment?
I just had a quick comment. Have you considered adding a Gold Star mom to your lineup? Because a lot of you guys suffer from survivor's guilt.
You know,
And I,
we absolutely have. I will tell you that one of the struggles with this um, is I have to have my wife reach out to the ladies. It's kind of um, it's something we're working on. And next year we will for sure have either we'll have somebody from a Gold Star family there for sure. Um, and to kind of cover down on that point of view for sure.
Ben, I would tell you, go ahead, Michelle.
I'd say that was just my suggestion.
Great
It's a
suggestion.
really good one. You know, I'm the reverse role of you, Ben. I started out as a female civilian trying to get into a military world. And, you know, at first they allowed me on base to give to the chaplains fund. And that was like at the front gate. We'll
Yeah.
take your money in. We'll get to that. It didn't work for me. And anyway, long story short, you know, the military, they do a really good job of taking care of their own. The spouses equally serve in just another very important lane. And they are kind of the rock that holds the unit together. You know all this, nothing, not telling you anything you don't know. But I think they're such an integral part of the family dynamic. I talked last week about 3 attempts in one day by 3 different veterans. Two of them are in treatment right now. One is probably in jail. And in the spirit of you do everything you can, all of those things have a lane. And only somebody, in my opinion, that's been through becoming a Gold Star parent or sibling, or they're the only ones that can really talk to that. Just like you guys have your lane and the spouses have theirs and distant family members have theirs, because people don't know how to communicate or talk. They know what's happened. Maybe something bad has happened. They know the family member is struggling. They don't want to interfere or say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. By the way, how do you feel about that, Michelle? I mean, that's something we've talked about a lot over the years, the family
I,
dynamic.
I'm not really sure what the question is. Sorry.
Well, you have a family dynamic. You have just gone through a funeral in the last 24 hours or so, I understand.
Yes,
You've
I
had
did.
a lot of tragedy happening. You are a Gold Star mom. You have your distant family. You have your close family. You have all the years that you've gone through, what that's like. You do what you do. How's your family doing with all this? What happens when your mom died recently? How were your kids? What's that reaction? How do you do that when you're the less than one half of 1% that have all the same traumas everybody else does, but compounded exponentially by the loss of a loved one who served their country? Got a thought about that one?
Uh, sure. Ask me a tough one, Debbie. Thanks.
You know, Michelle,
Um,
you're the one that can deliver it. I know this is a hard day for you. Uh,
actually, yes, I went to my best friend's funeral yesterday, and the day before that was August 10th. I'm going to start crying. That was the last day I ever saw my son alive. I didn't even know what day it was, and my body knew I had a meltdown, and then it hit me. It's August 10th. The way my family handles things is we're sad, we come together, we talk about everything. No subject is taboo. As long as there's respect and love, no subjects off the table. I'm blessed that all my kids, if it weren't for my spirituality, and Debbie, you know how I feel about God and all that, I don't know how I would survive all this. My suggestion with to Ben for having a gold star is, as you know, first of all, most military people are scared to death of us. 90% of us want nothing but to hug that pain out of you. There is 10% of us that don't want anything to do with you, and we blame the military. But the way my family goes through things is we call it turtling up. We get together, we talk about things, we support each other. No feelings, or you can talk about any feelings, and we can agree, disagree. But Debbie, you know my family. We talk about everything, absolutely everything. And I don't know if that actually answered your question. My brain's a little discombobulated today.
Look, it's yeah, because it's your heart, it's your truth, it's your story, it's your life. And that's where you get this kind of honesty to try to get to the core of a problem. You know, my side of the coin is Vietnam. Here we are doing this event, roughly 100 of them coming. There are some that they just don't want to talk about it. They're still mad. That's a long time to be mad, understandably so. It was a no war is kind, no war is good. But the country, when they came back, was kind of reprehensible. Each
I will
generation doing
I
their
will
own
tell
thing.
you, I because I have the fallen soldier plates. I cannot tell you how many times I've come out of a grocery store, even now, and there'll be a Vietnam vet standing at my car, and they'll go, "Was that your child, your son?" Yes. And they'll be, "Can I give you a hug?" And I've had some of them where I swear to God they look homeless, but I will hug them because I don't care. And then it even blows Dan's mind away. They'll start telling me their story sometimes, and they'll be like, "I don't know why I'm telling you this. I don't tell anybody this."
That's
And I
because they
tell,
never got to tell that story. Nobody wanted to hear it. And
right. And
somebody like you comes along who absolutely knows the 100% sacrifice.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah, they're
they,
going to want to talk to you.
I think they feel safe with me because I don't judge them. I'm happy you all came home. Yeah, do I wish my son came home too? Absolutely. But I am so grateful for those of you who serve to protect my freedoms. And that's what I tell them. I'm happy you came home. Don't be afraid to talk to me. And they're right. I don't judge them. I've only ever asked a couple of them that have guilt and this and that. Here's my one thing I ask: did you ever do anything intentionally cruel because you had the power? Then, if the answer to that is no, I don't care what you had to do to come home. If you were not intentionally cruel to anybody because you had the power at the time, I don't care what you did to come home. I'm just thankful you came home. I'm thankful for your family. And Debbie, you heard me say this. Nancy has said this. If I had the power to be the last Gold Star mom on the planet, I would do it. Because I know those things trigger me when people, like the ones we just lost and stuff, it triggers me because I know what their families are going to go through. And I really do wish, and I'm happy that I don't know why it's the Vietnam vets that are very much willing to open up to me. Maybe it's because they've held on to it for so long that they just need to get it out.
Yes, it
But
is. I talked to some of the folks that are coming, and they happen to be a part of my brother's unit. I find the stories staggering. I find the stories absolutely staggering, but they never avoid talking about their isolation when they came home because of the manner in which they were not received well. It's hard to, right now the country is at less than 0.5% of guys like you, Ben, that take the pledge to stand up and serve your country. 9/11 comes down and everybody goes to join the military who has that kind of heart. It's every generation has their own story. It seems like over the years and decades we might learn from one another. It doesn't so much seem like that's been happening. We just create a new version of a welcome home or no welcome home. I think to be in the room, and I'm looking forward to it. 100 Vietnam vets, imagine, all with a story, all with how they chose to live their life since then, why these things happen. I think it's going to be for me personally, phenomenal. Absolutely a phenomenal experience. I think it's going to be heavy. Get ready to those of you who are attending and hang on to your hats because you're going to need to hang on to your hat. I think it's a fascinating thing when I love what we're doing here. Ben, I love you joining and us joining with you. I think together we could be dangerous. You've got to reach people that maybe don't want to be reached, but certainly all of those resources are out there waiting for people to take. And if they would, I mean, there are, that, Michelle, there are some families that, would live to be around veterans and others that are learning how to cope with life still after all these years. It changes you permanently, but changing is a good word. We can all change how we react, things that we think and do and say. I hope that somehow whatever we're doing here reaches the bigger masses. I don't quite understand, nor will take the time to figure out how many people watch this video or receive the messages that are being delivered here. But when you bring like-minded people into a group, the healing that can go is beyond anything I've ever had the privilege of witnessing. And that started with families like yours, Michelle, and who the command was at that time and why they showed up, and the Patriot Guard riders who are all veterans that stand in the line now to honor the fallen. All those things give other people purposes, and it's very powerful. I appreciate you always sharing your story, Michelle. I'm sorry, I know it's been a wild ride for you for quite a while. So I always appreciate you coming on. And
well, I'm grateful for what I have. And I do this because helping veterans fills that hole left in my heart by losing Kenny. And that's the only way I can fill it. So,
yeah, it's hard
and
to
I've
explain.
always said even if I make the difference in one person's life, I leave this planet a better place than I found it, then I did something good. But the reason I suggested a Gold Star mom is because, like I said, most veterans that are afraid of us, they always tell me, I always ask them, why are you afraid of me? Well, because I came home. But see, I'm glad you came home. And I also encourage them to reach out to their battle buddies because 90% of us would kill to hear those stories. You have stories we don't have.
Yeah.
I didn't serve with my son, so I only know what kind of a soldier he was through the stories of the men that served with him. And that helps heal me. And then I think it helps them with their survivor's guilt because they know I'm not looking at them with any kind of blame, and I'm not.
That's a
So
really good point.
I would encourage you as you deal with the ones you deal with that have survivor's guilt. And Nancy and I have offered to do this, and I'll make the same offer for you, Ben. If they're afraid to reach out to their battle buddies, mom or dad, because they don't know how they'll be received, tell me who they are. I'll hunt them down and find out if they'd like to talk to their son or daughter's battle
Oh,
buddy.
sounds
Because
good.
I cherish every Kenny story, every single one.
I think it's a good thing to consider, Ben. And,
Oh yeah.
as you grow, you'll get another idea, certainly at this end. And, you as well will share ideas and thoughts. It's about getting to the bigger number and doing whatever it takes to get them to their new normal.
Yeah.
It's been frustrating over recent weeks. I can tell you, had an issue with Veterans Treatment Court. You familiar with VTC, Ben? You ever deal with Veterans Treatment Court?
I haven't ever dealt with it. There's an organization that we use here. Ironically, it's a it's a Combat Vets Motorcycle Association that
Oh
deals with.
yeah, CVMA. Oh, they're great. Yeah.
They deal a lot with that type of stuff. So uh,
It's interesting because they don't, we've known those guys for a long time. I used to ride with them when they would
yeah,
do events. But they are, they're a hard group to break. They're a hard group to break. I think I don't know, it's that motorcycle attitude. But boy, they're really, really, really great people.
yeah.
Honestly, for me, if we could get to this, all the CVMA guys throughout the country, we were in Texas a couple years ago, and the American Legion Post or VFWs, it just I think it served its purpose. I have a strong opinion about opening those doors to the new generation, and they try or they do. But it's almost like, the OAF guys have tremendous respect for Vietnam and other wars past. Um, but it's almost like there's a lack in the ability to communicate. And as a result, I think we could do so many great things. I
Yeah.
was talking to someone today, Lisa, you will recall, you were there. Rosie was there. The others, Mike, no. But I don't know if Michelle was there when we went to Texas a couple years ago. And we were excited to team up with the American Legion Post there. They had a new command coming in, the VFW. They asked to come and speak. We do it. We were expecting around 300 people. What do we get, like 50 or something like that? And that was the beginning of the end because I've since learned they're almost dissolving now. They're not, they have their monthly spaghetti dinner. They visit, they go home. And, it's sad to me because it's a dying breed of we've got to do something as the new generations come up to do what we're trying to do here, a place where they can be comfortable, where their families can come, where they can talk, where they can get services, where they can get the help they need and talk privately and have therapists there and people that have been down there, Gold Star families, so that they're not afraid. We've got to do a better job of reaching that less than 1/2 of 1%. It takes resources, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes money, all of which is hard to find. But I don't know, watching these folks from Nam, it's going to be fascinating to me. But I know several of their stories, and I'm thinking 50 years later, you guys didn't tell each other that story. You didn't share that thing when you were all serving. What were you afraid of? Why didn't you go there? I want to go there. They don't. And so you can't walk into a 3-day event and, rip the bandage off. But together, collectively, guys like CVMA, they're very generous. They host their events, they're fundraisers. Um, they're great people to be around. They're fun to ride on with. But it's almost like you'll go so far, don't want to rip that scab off. So, we can do more, we can do better. I think we need to. And that most evidently includes the Gold Star families, Michelle. So I'm proud of you and everything you do on that. It's a it's a showstopper. It gets their attention, but man, you can hear a pin drop and they listen. And sometimes that's when you've made the greatest impact on the people that need to hear the message. money is a hard deal, right, Ben? You got to raise money to be able to pay for these things. Everything costs money. I have a long history of hating to ask for money, not good at it. Um, After 21 years, we've got a couple of corporations that are now supporting us in a big way. You do what you can each year and hope they're going to remember you, you know? There's a lot of other operations out there. I don't consider it competition. I consider it services throughout the country in a better way to reach more people. But
So I would say this. Competition would suggest that you're enemies. So if you're not enemies, you need to be allies.
came
And,
into that.
and so one of the biggest things with nonprofits across this country is everybody is so focused on what they have going on that they lose sight of who their target is.
Yeah.
And so you're so focused on not allowing this other organization to take your territory, whatever the case may be, that you actually, uh, expend resources there when you should have been expending them on who your sphere of influence is, or whatever your for you guys, it's stopping people from killing themselves.
Yeah.
Taking somebody who's who's broken, who's down and out, sitting on their couch or sitting hanging off the side of a bridge, and restoring them back to a functional life. And
It
so,
works though. It works, you know?
oh, yeah.
It
So, but
works
I
for
mean,
both.
if you can put 100% of your resources into that,
Yeah.
great. And so becoming allies with other organizations, so that there's no competition. We call it in our stuff, we at our conference that we're having, right? We have organizations come from all across the country. We've capped it at 20 organizations that we'll allow to come to this event.
So
And
how did that go? How did that go?
it's fantastic. We got some feedback from some of them. Operation Heal Our Patriots, right? It's a subsection of Samaritan's Purse. They deal with marriages. And they came, and their feedback that they gave us, they said, I think they told us that they had like 16 or more couples that attended the retreat in Alaska from
Yeah.
the retreat that we had.
Wow. Wow.
So, and those heal marriages. And so that's just super amazing to be able to do that. Um, but we don't call them, uh, they're supporting fire for us, and hopefully we're supporting fire for them.
Yeah.
Their mission support, they are mission critical, to us, because we're specialists in one thing. We're specialists in spreading the medicine that Jesus gave us. Well, two things. The second thing is connecting you with somebody who's a specialist in whatever you got going on. And so, yeah. And as far as CVMA, if you ever need to crack that nut, because you're not wrong, the bikers are funny folks. Um,
I love them.
yeah. Well, I mean, so my church is called Freedom Biker Church. I attend a biker church. Our sphere of influence is bikers. And
Love that.
why does that work so well with me? Why? Because most of the bikers are prior military.
Yep.
Yeah, there's these folks who they miss the rush of what they were going through when they were jumping out of planes, and when they were shooting, when they were doing all the things they were doing, or going down range. That what's the next closest thing? Well, you can be a fireman. Maybe that time has passed, but it's never too late to join a club and ride a bike. So, um, so yeah, if you ever need to crack that nut, let me know, and I can help out there.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm all in on that
Shoot,
one.
Mike, what the heck? I thought that it was cool that we had cowboy churches out here. They got biker churches. That's even cooler.
Yep.
I think there could be uh, so CVMA is throughout the country, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're in several countries even.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. They're I've talked to a lot of them kind of behind the scenes. When I've gone to their events, they're usually honoring, recognizing charities, things of that nature. They're out there to have a good run. They go out, they drink, they eat, they ride, they come back, they have a few door prizes, they go home after that. But
Yep.
every single time that we've been there, there's been a story. There's been a story, somebody we've been able to reach. There's somebody who's a spouse or a mom that says, my kid, can you talk to him? Can you help? I certainly would love to know what a secret might be. It's not about breaking them. It's about getting enough of them in an environment because that's why we do the interventions. It's with about 25, something like that. And you're bringing the hard ass guys that want to be there, don't want to be there. Spouse says we need to go. I think we ought to try this. You got both sides that are fearful, don't know what to expect. They arrive, they're what are we doing here moment. Um, it just plays out. It just plays out because you got like-minded people in a room, anywhere from a gold star to spouses to people that are drug alcohol addiction, are sick of fighting the addiction. The spouses are arguing, children are at home, grandparents are saying, please get something done here. Um, and some are ready and some aren't. I've found them to be incredibly successful. I don't think anybody that's been a part of them would argue that point. Do we get to everybody? Nope. We certainly deliver a message to them. And to be honest with you, it's not kinder or gentler. I mean, it's a opportunity to get real. I mean, if you want to kill yourself, I can't stop you from doing that. And we've lost 3 of our own QRF guys over the years, and I'm still angry about it. I'm still angry about it because in one case, a couple of our own people knew they were talking to him. They were talking to him, and anyway, it
So JD Greer, he's a pastor up in Durham, North Carolina. He says this. He said that if you give only the truth but have no love, you're a bully.
yeah,
But if you give only love and no truth, you're a coward.
yeah,
So
find
this
the
is,
balance.
yeah, you got to find that balance there to where you can give somebody, you know, the hard truth of what is going on, what needs to happen, or, this could happen, but do it in a way that is loving to where, and supportive, because otherwise it's not received appropriately. And
But
yeah.
I think, Lisa, I mean, Rose, others, you can speak to it. Um, there's an amazing dynamic that goes on. The women often will go one way, and in our last intervention, that turned out to be wild and very revealing and very helpful. And it went long. And so the guys were in the other room, waiting for us to come back. And at
Mm.
one point, I walked in and kind of went, what are you guys doing? What are we doing here? They're off in their telephones and they're doing this and they're doing that. And in short order, ladies came back. We changed that. But it's an amazing dynamic. It's an amazing dynamic because it's that attitude of somebody better off and worse off. You get one person talking. If they want to listen the whole weekend, that's fine. You don't need to talk. Listen. Did you
Yeah.
receive? Did you hear? And now you're going home. What are you going to do about it? If you've got a drug addiction issue, and we've had people and even that serve on our committee and on our teams that stop a 10-year drinking binge at the event. I think I talked about that one other time. You kind of get scared. You say, well, wait a minute. What do you mean you want to detox here after 10 years? But things happen because they listen to somebody else that's in that room. That's why it's so raw, it's so real, and it works. To be honest with you, I don't want to say the government would pay the program. I don't know why we don't do an exit when people leave the military. I don't know why we can't get to them before they get into the less than 0.5% of them going into the 99.5% of the country that doesn't understand what they've gone through and doesn't understand what they need. Um, the VA, good, bad, ugly, and everything in between, depending on the resource and all that. But if that's your go-to, where do they find CVMA finds like-minded people, right? You seek out your own kind. The gold stars are here, looking for fulfillment for their lives as well, which they find in working with folks like CVMA. Are they willing to listen? Are they wanting to hear it? You don't know until you try these things. But to me, I think when you're doing stuff like this, you have to follow your own heart, whatever that might be. But collectively, I don't even know how we started doing these things over all these years. No two are the same. There's no scripts because your people are different. It's just honest dialogue, Ben, like we're having here on this dialogue. Hi, Nate. See you there, Nathan. Um, it's I don't know, be interesting after the Vietnam event. I'd sure like to talk more. I think bringing just what you're talking about with CVMA, it might be the next niche to go to. It's a huge population of military, and they're the ones that are always out riding and doing for other people. Deepest respect. Um, they're
Very
outstanding folks.
philanthropic for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you do at your annual event? What's that all about?
Um, so the organizations that come to it, they get a 5 minute blurb up on the stage, but really what we do is we come and we spend some time with each other. It's from 9 to 4, and there's 5 speakers. So between um, the food trucks that we have there and the speakers in there and the band that's going to be playing, the day goes by pretty fast. But really, the point is for folks to get a different viewpoint or strengthen their viewpoint, but ideally grow closer to Christ. And then also it's our one of our major evangelical outreaches, so that um, a lot of military folks when they're broken, the last place they want to go to is a church, and but they want to be around their brothers and sisters, and this is an event that's separate from a church. But make no mistake, it's church is happening on the inside of it, and it's a really great deal. But the organizations that come, they get to present themselves to a pretty large audience of folks, and and get their name out there, because that's a struggle. If you go on Google and type how do I get help as a veteran, man, you could cycle through a dozen pages and not find a good solid nonprofit that's actually going to help without a ton of red tape.
You know,
And this is an opportunity for folks to come there and and have a look at some organizations that desperately want to help, but they're taking their operating funds and putting it in 100% into helping, and not taking 20% of it and dumping it over to Google and all of them so that they can hit the high search ratings. So they're hard to find. And so this is another point of the event, is to bring them some visibility too.
I think it's all really good stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And we'll have to figure something out. I don't know what that looks like yet, but for me, I get excited when we can have a large group of people. They learn from each other. They learn
Yeah.
from each other. You don't need to have keynote speakers all the time, that kind of thing. But I think both ends work extremely well. Um, when you bring in a couple, the kids are staying at home, mom or dad, somebody, family members watching them, all that, it gives them a time to get away, but it gives people support. Again, uh, because there's still somebody in that room better off and worse off than you. And once they start, uh, feeling they don't have to talk, they just have to come, they have to listen. And I think we do it in such a way that allows them to feel safe. And it doesn't take long for them to start talking.
Yeah.
And when they hear it from somebody else, or they know how bad off they were or what they did to get out of that place, it's kind of like taking an antidote, for a poison. You feel so horrible, you want anything to make you feel better. And there are
Yeah.
now so many great resources out there, but they're getting pretty well flooded. They're taking time, there are longer delays, that kind of thing. But giving somebody hope that there's a progression along the way. I mean, to me, that's why we address the 7 triggers. They seem fairly common. There are some very good VAs out there. There are some not good at all. And depending, that's a lightning rod. Well, I didn't get my benefits, then that triggers them, then they get angry, whatever. Um, I think it's all understandable. And what you want to be able to do is try to get them in a place where they can cut to the chase. I mean, Mike and Lisa wound up going through a congressional. I mean, a congressional used to mean something. Washington is coming out. They're coming out to tell you, oh my God, what on earth is going on here? And you go through all this, and Mike is a mess, ill, sick as a dog, hospitalized forever, ever, ever. and Lisa's trying to just survive life, and they're going to come and help you, except they talk to you. How long they talk to you, Lisa? A day, 2 days?
They were there for 3 days, but they interviewed me first, and then they took me and Mike down into a room and interviewed both of us. Did they ever come up and talk to you alone, Mike? I can't remember if they did in your hospital room or not. Um,
No,
yeah,
no. The
so
only time I saw
I
him
would
is
say a
when he
few
was in.
hours tops.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, they're going to go do a congressional. They came out for a purpose. They're going to go make action. When did they respond to you?
They have not to this day.
And how long ago is that?
Oh
3 years.
gosh, 3 years ago now.
I
Are you
think
kidding
3
me? It's
years.
2 years. You can't write that
3 years.
crap. You can't write it. You can't write it. That's the political side of it. And don't bother, Send me somebody that can make a difference. Send
But
us
it's no
somebody.
different than the issues that we see even now. Like, take Mike's thing all aside, the issues that we see now, I don't understand how it is so damn hard to get somebody into a treatment program that is outside the VA. Why is it so difficult to
Oh
do
my
this?
gosh. Oh my gosh. That was two of the guys of the three this last week, Lisa.
It
And
blows my mind. I thought it was supposed to be in the best interest of the veteran. And if that is what's in the best interest of the veteran, why are we pushing it off?
I will tell you, it depends on the area, in my opinion. Based on our experience, it's based on location. Wherever that location might be, they're either all in or they're not in at all. And you put false hopes into people because you're waiting for a community care referral. I am very pleased to tell you that of the three cases last week, we did get two of them in. They did both get into the chateau. Guess what? They don't know each other, but we know both of them really well. We know their story. We know their triggers. We tell both the opposite people what you need to do. Don't be afraid when you go. These guys arrived 24 hours apart. I'm dying to hear what's going on today. Just would love to be a bug on a wall and see it. But what they don't know is the one guy's a musician. He's pretty well known. And the buddy that's going with him loves music, brought his guitar. It's his piece, it's how he relaxes. And we've talked to the folks at the Chateau. Great operation. I'm so thrilled that we went out there, saw what they did, what they can offer, what they can provide, and they busted it for us. I'm so excited for both of them. They're going to be there for 33 days. One's in Mexico and the other one's in this country somewhere. And I'm telling you, it's exciting to see things like that go down and knowing they're coming out. And then right after that, while they're doing that, they can be applying over at Marcus Institute. I'm hoping in about 10 days to have a conversation, get them to make that first contact, find out if you qualify, get that process rolling. So when they get out of that treatment center, they got the next one to look forward to. And in the meantime, we're able to take care of a couple of family bills. We can't afford to pay everything. But the bottom line is take some pressure off. The wife is significant others at home taking care of the kids. They get the privilege of staying there, knowing they're getting the desperate treatment that they need and that there's something they have to look forward to. And in the one guy's case, we're just going to take them, we're going to take them both all the way through. So there is a cure in my mind, not a cure, but there certainly is a lane that we should all be allowed to travel in that allows us the kind of cooperation we're getting to the right resources, to the right ability to know the next one is coming and that they're not going to have to wait for a year down the line or that they're going to get a congressional and you're never going to return my call. It's just got to stop. It's got to stop. And I think it stops in the private sector. And all we need is anybody to hook me up with a millionaire. A billionaire would be better. And then we could really go to town in the country. Mike. Got to unmute, buddy.
I thought I was.
Yeah.
Um, just speaking from experience, I can tell you that not knowing the two gentlemen that are at Chateau, they probably connected before, but if they both have the music love that you're saying,
Yeah.
they're inseparable right now. I guarantee
I
it.
love it. I know. It's so cool. They're so cooperative, and that's why it was so important, I think, for all of us to go out there and let them know who we are. Let us learn who you are and let us find out what we can do. So to have to get to that place where this is the right place to send some folks, and then you've got the bureaucracy of a, I can't get you in because we can't get a community cares referral. The programs are very expensive. I mean, the Marcus Institute is somewhere around 50 grand. And that's all funded by people like Bernie Marcos of Home Depot. He passed, other people have come to the occasion and risen and beautiful. Shepherd's Men, Warrior's Heart. I like them a lot. I'm not here to talk anybody up or down in your resources. Let me be candid. But the last time I did, sometimes they call you back right away. I call with an urgent call, and I know a couple of people there, and I say, take me to this guy, please. Take me to that one. Well, she's not available right now. Can she call me back? Would you red flag it? Emergency. Have them call. 9 days later. 9 days later. No, I didn't need 9 hours later. I needed 9 minutes later. How do I keep the flow going? Because the veteran, once they decide to go, they're scared. They're scared. And you got to turn it around. I think collectively, we know what needs to be done. Do we have control over all that? No. But, I'm pleased to tell you in some of these cases, and in the case of the chateau and other resources, they can be really, really good. And we need them. We need them badly. And I'm very proud about what's going on and what we've been able to accomplish. And I'm really looking forward to having those guys on this call in a couple of months further down the line. Hi, Charity. How are you? Good to see you. Was that new
Hello.
puppy in college? I mean, because he's growing like in leaps and bounds, for God's sake.
He went and met his trainer. He'll start when he's 5 months old
Oh my
and
gosh,
go away to
oh my,
training.
you already got a trainer lined up, huh?
Yeah, somebody in Nashville
Oh,
is
no
gonna
kidding.
still
Good for you
train him.
guys. Good for you guys. So you
So,
doing better? Both of you guys doing okay?
yeah, doing
Good.
great.
Excellent, excellent. I appreciate Will being
Hit by the
available to
storm
take calls.
yesterday, Charity?
Say what?
Did you guys get hit by that storm yesterday?
We did not. It went around
Good.
us.
Good. I was
Yeah.
worried about you.
Yeah, no, Will was hot on it watching Ryan Hall, y'all.
So
he
were
was staying up
we.
there.
Yes. Way to go, Will. Love it. We get the y'all call because
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
you have saved our lives many a times.
Yep. I bet. I wouldn't want to be where you are. It's pretty there, but I still don't want to be there.
Wow, crazy stuff, huh? Will's doing good. I appreciate him being available to take those calls in a
Yeah.
kind of urgent moment. Fair to say that's okay for Will, in your opinion? It works
Oh,
for
yeah.
him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He likes it.
It's
It's like a little purpose for him.
it's a lead by example because he understands what they're going through. And that's what works. That's what works.
Yep.
I love all that stuff. Well, anybody got anything they'd like to talk about here? I have no idea what time it is here. 5:53. It seems like the time flies. Anybody got any news for us? Anything exciting going on in your lives? Any plans? Anything new? Hearing nothing? All right. All right. All good. All good. We'll come back each week. I am going to say the last week of the month. We'll probably have to, I don't know if anybody else wants to take the lead on it. We will be doing the Vietnam event from well, Rose and I will be there for the full week. So, Tuesday the 25th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 29th. And we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to I don't know that I want to put that thing. It's certainly live, but I mean, we'll put a Zoom call in there for those that can't make it to watch and listen and reconnect with some battle buddies. I'm kind of excited to see how this all looks. I can
Are
tell
we
you
gonna
that,
live stream from Nam event?
yeah, there will, yeah, there will be a live feed,
No, for this
a Zoom
meeting.
call.
while we're
No,
there.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I just can't see it, guys. And that's why I'm saying if anybody wants to take the lead the last week of August on this call, I just can't, I can't multitask that too. But I am excited about it. I think I've started calling some of the veterans, it's crazy. It's crazy what they went through and what they've done with their lives since. The one guy says to me today, okay, I don't want you to get mad at me, but I've been married 4 times. Do you think that's bad? I said, well, how was it for you? I'm not married to him. It's up to you. But it's like they're, guarded about what they say. But there's a few of them who got a story. We actually have Tom Mateo. He was actually 8 Purple Hearts, 6 that they officially gave to him, two that he didn't fight for, but he's going to be our keynote, and he's going to make a presentation to the 95-year-old Command Sergeant Major. He's going to present one of his Purple Hearts to him.
Hmm.
I think it's going to
Amazing.
rock.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited in a big way, and I think it's going to be a good thing to do. So,
Hey,
anybody?
Charity, are you going to be around that week? Oh,
We're going to be at the lake and then in Vermont for a little bit. That's our vacation time. So we'll be at the lake. I'm gonna try to hop on even at the lake. I'm gonna still try to hop on. But
Turn your phones off and go enjoy each other, you know? Say hey to Will, tell him thanks for me, will you? He's
oh,
always
I
there.
will.
Appreciate you guys very much. Anybody got any final comments or thoughts? Without that, Ben, can I refer to you for signing us off with a prayer, maybe?
Absolutely. I think Lisa would remind you that you need to tell people where to call, where to go, and what to do.
Yeah, she always does. And if she does it, you see why she does it, because I never do. The hashtag is AMFGy6. That'll get you to our website if you have a want or a need. My personal number I always give out is 303-746-8195. American Military Family. Don't sit there and struggle on your own. Give us a call. To
Very
you,
good.
my friend, to you.
We got it. Father, we thank you so much that, God, that you have worked mightily here. And we just have faith and trust, God, that you're going to send this out to where it needs to go. And God, that you would just allow the people who need this care to find this and use something from this to speak to them. Because, God, if this saves one life, it was all worth it. And if this takes 12 months and saves one life, it's all worth it. And so we just thank you for it. We ask that you would just lift up those of us here who are anxious because there's not a lot of people on here, Lord. That we just have faith and trust that you are using this to do what you set it out to do. And so we just thank you and we praise you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. And wouldn't it be amazing at the end of that prayer if somebody does reach out? Because it's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Maybe sooner than later, maybe not, but it'll happen. And when it does, won't that be the proof that what we're doing is the right thing? I thank you all so much for joining. I always thank you there, Ben, for everything that you all do. If you need anything, let us know. And in the
Got it.
meantime, let's never forget Vietnam. And we're about to remember them in a big way in a couple of weeks. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Stay out of trouble, for goodness sakes, will you, Lisa?